host of the Gridiron.
And that's, the Giants have been dealing with this for a long time. Another slow start for the Giants spells doom. I mean, it's like week in and week out. It's like almost every week. Almost every week. Not every game this year. I think we've had 2 games this year where we actually scored some multiple touchdowns in the first half. But I'm going to go over like each game pretty much, from this season, and just show you like how if we could ever like get out to a 14-point first quarter or what, get 17 to 20 points by half, there's something, seems like almost every week we just like, where are the points? It's like we let the first 30 minutes elapse. Then they run in and they look at the scoreboard. Okay, guys, we're down 17-0. All right, so we got to come back by 17. It's like they don't. Well, we're going to give the other team the first half. We're going to try to come back and make it up in the second half. It's like, but let's see. So let's go. I mean, let's see what we got here. Let's go to the Giants here. Obviously, week 1, I mean, you can just forget about that, right? Week 1, against Minnesota. Obviously, we didn't even score a touchdown in that game, right? Let's see. Did we have one? Okay, we had the field goal in the first quarter, right? So, of course, we had no touchdowns against Minnesota, and we had a field goal at halftime, 3 points. And of course, then you look at this game right here, of course, right? This game right here, of course, halftime, no points. I mean, against a Carolina team, bad defense, somehow, once again, we got shut out at halftime. It's like, it's mind-boggling. All right. So the next game, we had in the beginning, we actually had a couple games, not bad, right? Against the Commanders, right? We actually had 2 touchdowns. Right. Of course, we couldn't kick any extra points because Graham Gano got injured. Right. So we actually had 2 touchdowns in the first half of the Washington game. Now, there's once again that game, quite possibly, if we actually had a kicker, we possibly could have won that game. But so that was one of that one, and not the next game. We had a couple games, right? But other than that, for the most part, all right. So the Commander game, and then you got the Brown game. The Giants actually had, there's this one, right, against the Browns. We actually had 3 touchdowns in the first half. Of course, we didn't score any points in the second half. We basically held on for the dub, right? But somehow we actually had 3 touchdowns in the first half. All right. And, of course, then the other game would be the Seattle game. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, we've got slim pickings here, right? The Cowboy game, what do we have? We had 3 field goals. So we were only down 14-9 at halftime. But once again, we scored 3 times, not 1 touchdown. The next game here. This was the Seattle game. Okay, Seattle. We actually scored a touchdown in the first half. It was 10-10 at halftime, right? We scored a touchdown in the third, a touchdown in the fourth, right? But but in the first quarter we didn't score a point. First quarter, I said the same. Say against the what do we got there? Dallas scored 3 points. So Dallas game we scored 3 points in the first quarter. Against Seattle, well, we put up some points, right? We had no points in the first quarter. No points. All right. Then the next game here. I mean, these last bunch of games were just, the Bengal game. We didn't score until the third quarter. We were shut out at halftime by the Bengals defense. I mean, they apparently had some kind of a defensive meeting only, player only. I don't give a crap, dude. I don't care what they had. You put the big boy pants on, you go out and you score yourself some points. They had no points against the Cincinnati Bengals at home. No points in the first half. Absolutely unexcusable. All right, then we got the following week. That was against the Eagles. I mean, we scored. Of course, we didn't even score a touchdown, but we had one field goal at halftime. So between the Bengals and the Eagles, those two games, they were both home games. You take the first and second quarter of both games, combine them together. That was 4 quarters. We scored 3 points in 4 quarters. Once again, slow start. All right, then, of course, then we got the next games, the Steelers, the Giants. That was the 3 field. We had 3 field goals. Joseph, a 44-yarder, a 39-yarder, and a 29-yarder. So that one was actually 9-9.5, right? Once again, no touchdowns. 3 games in a row. Not one touchdown in the first half. So you got the 3 games in a row, right? Between the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Eagles, we scored a grand total of 12 points in the first half. Lost all 3 games. Right? Once again, you're starting off slow. Of course, then we got the Commander game. That one we actually scored a touchdown in the second quarter. Right? Which one was that? Was that that was the man? I couldn't remember if that was the Daniel Jones or that the Man Hurts one. But so we scored. We got once again, but we got shut out in the first quarter, and we scored it. We scored in the second quarter. We scored one time. We had 1 score in the first half against the Commanders' defense. 1 score at home in the first half. We scored 7 points. All right, then we got. They got the Panthers in. And as I said, once again, somehow it's like, shut out against the Panthers in the first half. It just don't know, just unbelievable. It just makes you wonder, because I know Saquon missed a little bit of time, not too much, but he missed a little bit of time in Daniel Jones's rookie season, but. Just makes you think, because Daniel Jones's rookie season, we didn't have a number 1 wide receiver. We haven't had a good offensive line for 300 years. You look at our offensive line for that year. Sure, it wasn't phenomenal. We did have we had Evan Ingram, who was like a mismatch, but he was like, you throw the ball to him, he's like, let the ball pop through his hands, it would pop up in the air, and there'd be a defender behind him who would pick the pass off and intercept it. Yeah, so we didn't have like really a number 1 wide receiver, and somehow with Shermer there, right? Somehow what we should have done was fire Shermer as the head coach and keep him as the play caller or the offensive coordinator. Somehow we got 24 touchdown passes out of Daniel Jones in 12 games, 2 touchdown passes a game. He threw 12 interceptions, of course. That was 2019. He had 319 fumbles that year too. I get it, but. Somehow we scored 20. He had 24 touchdown passes in 12 games, Shermer. When and he was the coach of Daniel Jones. So, but the Giants did just slow start. I mean, there's just so many games, and even the same thing as last year. I mean, you go back to the beginning of last year. Oh my God! Like the first. What do we got? Well, I mean, you start with the Cowboys. Obviously, we didn't score a point in the first half last year because we got shut out, right? And then, let's see, what do we got here? Oh, did it again. Let's see here. Then you go to the Carolina, the Cardinal game. We were shut out against the Cardinals. So the first 2 games last year, we were shut out in both halves. First half. Both games. Then the 49ers, we scored 6 points. So the first 3 games, we even scored a touchdown in the first half. All right, then you got the Seahawks game. We scored 1 field goal. So the first 4 games didn't score a touchdown in the first half last year. Then, of course, you got, I think it was the Miami game? Yeah, Miami game. We did score a touchdown. We scored 1 touchdown, but unfortunately, that touchdown came on Jason Pinnock's interception return back for a touchdown. So the first 5 games last year, the Giants' offense scored no touchdowns in the first half. Let's see. It was a game. Go to game 6. No. That was against Buffalo. We scored 9. We scored 3 field goals. Could have had a touchdown if Tyrod Taylor didn't change the play at the end of the first half. Possibly could have, if he threw a pass instead of ran the ball, maybe he could have scored a touchdown there. But the Giants didn't score a touchdown in that game either. So 6 games. Let's say how many games do we got to go? Oh, okay. The Commander game. The Giants scored 2 touchdowns in the 7th game of the season in the second quarter. The other 3 quarters of that game, we got shut out at. But finally, it took 7 games last year for the Giants offense to score a touchdown in the first half. 7 games. And I said the 7th game, we scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. The first quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter of that same game, we got shut out. It's just, yeah, I understand it's easy to say just start fast, and I get it and all that, especially when you're only averaging 14 or 15 points a game. I get it, but it just goes to show you it's just been unbelievable how slow. I mean, it's just like it's almost like rinse and repeat every week. We come out and yeah, it's halftime. Yeah, the Giants are shut out. It's halftime. It's